Let's try this. I'm not looking for solidarity. Only the sheep would know its shepherd's voice. The ones that this hit jazz right the way it's meant to be is very few that's going to be like that as told in the Bible. So who's ever understanding this and get what I'm saying, this is who this message is meant for. I thought about one time, a lot of things crossed my mind when I studied the Bible. And I said, wow, you had Israelites over there in captivity when they came over with their father. Look this stuff up. Go to KJV and not NIV, not none of that ESV. Go to KJV, King James, and look this stuff up. They have changed everything in the Bible. And the funny thing about that, I don't care what you change or how you teach the Bible. Whatever you do is for you, because it do not change God. He's going to come and do all the stuff that you try to change. He's going to do it anyway because what he said goes, not what you say. That's why I say don't trust man. If I can't give you verbatim on scripture, then don't listen to me. And you can't twist anything once you read it verbatim. You can't twist it. It's verbatim. That means straight the way it was written. I mean, the way it's supposed to have been said. You can't twist it. You can't add nothing to it. So anyway, I was sitting up here thinking about the Egyptians. They saw all those Israelites over there and different powers come into power. Different people come into power. And it was some that decided to take the Israelites captive because it was so many over there. It wasn't that many when it started out. You think I'm kidding? You can look at this scripture, Genesis 57:11. And it's telling you, I believe it's in here, about how many came in. They came from Jerusalem and they grew a lot. And and the power in Egypt took them into captivity, fearing that their enemies would join up with the Israelites and overtake them. And that's how they end up in captivity. And then they was disobedient. They wasn't doing everything God wanted them to do. They was following the deities and all that. I hope I'm saying that right, deities and all. And God wasn't with it. He's a jealous God. And he allowed them to go into captivity. Okay, so if Moses didn't look like Egyptians, which the world, it's very important for the world to have you think they're white, then that would mean the Israelites are white, which means the Jews are white. And that's a lie. And I'll get to that in a minute. But anyway, they didn't take names, right? All the 400 years the Israelites was there, how come their names wasn't Egyptian? You see Moses. Moses, that's not an Egyptian name. But Moses was born in Egypt. Joseph's sons' names, Ephraim, origin, Hebrew. Manasseh, origin, Hebrew. But they was there all that time. Matter of fact, Joseph had an Egyptian wife, but they had Hebrew names. They did not take African names. Genesis 15:13. God told Abraham that his people would go into captivity for 400 years because God knew way beforehand they would disobey him. And Jesus was telling Abraham about the punishment. Okay, Deuteronomy 28:68. It's talking about the ships. And you'll be took by your enemies. So anybody that had slaves is not your friend. Even in God's words, they're your enemies. Okay? And any slavery won't do. People claim everybody, they mama, daddy, cousins, and half sister was all slaves. But this scripture says, where I spake unto thee, whereof I spake, which means slavery in a specific way. In a specific, not by Holocaust, not by this, that, and the other, all the stuff you name. The people that Jesus chose, they didn't choose Jesus. Jesus chose them. We talking about the Israelites and the covenant and stuff he made with them. Hey, God set that up with those people only. When you think of it, it's a biological family. Abraham is the father of Isaac. Isaac is the father of Jacob. It's biological. Not spiritually, but flesh, biologically, blood. Everybody in the world have nothing to do with it. The chosen mean people that was picked, and the Gentiles are people that was not picked. So it's not just whites. It's Africans. It's everybody that wasn't picked. I just told you. The Israelites came into Egypt. The Jews and all of those, they came into Egypt from Jerusalem. So if they came into Egypt, they was not there in the beginning. Okay, so now let's go down here now this is up here about names. The Atlantic slave trade people did not have African names. I found it out through Washington, D.C. Archives manifest. They did not have African names. And the ones that was in Egypt for 400 years did not have African names. I just proved that. Okay? Now we're going down here and we're going to talk color because the Bible talks about color. Jacob died, and his son Joseph went to go bury his daddy. And when his son went to go bury his daddy, and this is what this is telling you, and Joseph went to bury his father, and with him went up all the servants of Pharaoh and the elders of his house, and all the elders of the land of Egypt. But when they did that, now you go over here to Jeremiah 14:2, Judah mourneth in the gates of their language. They, not one person, they are black. All the Israelites are black. Unto the ground. All Israelites are black. You go down here. This is King David's son, Solomon. And he said, I am black, but comely. Comely mean handsome. The tents of Kedar. The tents of Kedar. Look that up. It's black as I don't know what. Black as coal. These are family. See these arrows? Family Israelite. All these people are family. Now, let's get back to the funeral. Joseph, which is a black guy, since everybody else is black, the one that had Egyptian wife and had kids, and these his kids again, Joseph and his kids. Well, now Joseph is burying his father. And when they got, as the scripture talks, to make it short and sweet, and when the inhabitants of the land, the Canaanites, saw the mourning in the floor of Atad, they said, this is a grievous mourning to the Egyptians. Egyptians must have been black, because I just showed you that all the Israelites were black. So the Egyptians were black. And so even the Canaanites thought they was all the same people because of their color. Whereof the name of it was called Abel-Mizraim, whatever that, you see the name, which is beyond in Jordan. So they going back to bury their dad where they from. And so as you see this, the lies have been told. If you look up Solomon, if you Google Solomon, Solomon is going to be white. But he just said, Solomon, I am black. The whites won't give it up. And the hate is not by accident. It's what's in your blood. It's who you really are. But they call you black. And you're not African.